You might think you need to have a large channel in order to make any money from YouTube. But guess what? After working with multiple creators to help them grow their channels and build businesses through YouTube, I realized that's not true. And that it's not about views or subscribers, it's about the trust you build in your audience. Which is exactly why there are creators out there pulling in just a few thousand views every month and using those views to make consistent income. So in this video, I'm gonna explain what we all get wrong about making money with YouTube. I'm gonna walk you through the different pathways to earn revenue and how you can start making money from YouTube fast. But first, you need to understand what's at stake if you choose the wrong pathway. All right, this is my YouTube channel here. You can see that I've had a few videos that have done really well. One video has 1.6 million views, one has 946,000 views, and I've had quite a few more short form pieces of content that have done well as well. This one, 13 million, 7 million, 6 million, 6 million, 5 million, quite a few videos that have done well on this channel, which has added up to a total of 116 million views over the last 3.5 years, which sounds great on paper. It's a fantastic vanity metric, but when you look a layer deeper, you realize that I've only made $26,363 over the last 3.5 years, which averages out to about $7,500 per year. So with this channel that has 159,000 subscribers, I'm currently unable to live full-time off of the income that I've made from this channel. That's not ideal. So what exactly did I get wrong with my channel that caused me to only make around $7,500 a year? Well, my early strategy with this channel was to post short-form content because that's what I could engage viewers with. But the issue that I found was that that audience didn't really convert to long-form content. Even when it did, even when I did have videos that did really well on the algorithm, they were fleeting and it was really hard to connect the dots between the audience. So ultimately, even though I had 159,000 subscribers, I have this audience that I've built, it was pretty fragmented with people coming from all sorts of different videos, all sorts of different topics, and kind of expecting random content from me. And so as a result, AdSense was really unstable. And when I tried to sell things by adding a sponsorship to my video or even trying to start a Patreon community, I didn't get conversions. At the time, it was really frustrating. I didn't really know what was going on, but looking back, it makes sense because I hadn't engaged an audience on a video-to-video basis and grown the trust in me as a creator enough that people would want to buy those products. And in reality, it's because I didn't have a monetization strategy in the beginning. I didn't even know what kind of content I was going to make. I was experimenting and testing things out, and I never really stuck with one thing or really built up one core audience. I never really built up the trust within me as a creator. So ultimately what that meant is that I built up an audience of people who were interested in some content and some topics, but would never really be able to be monetized. Building a channel around an audience like that, one that's hard to convert into revenue, one that's hard to monetize, it makes it a lot harder for you to go full-time as a creator. Meanwhile, if we look at the channel that you're watching this video on right now that has 1/1000th of the subscribers, I've had people coming to me asking to work with me on this channel already from the content that I'm posting. Over the last few months, I've realized that there's a fundamental difference between the way I built my main channel and my second channel. And that's what's enabling me to get more viewers converted to buyers on a channel that's 1,000th of the size. And more importantly, it's shown me that most creators think about YouTube income completely wrong, and that there's another pathway entirely that is way more effective. Which is why you see some creators who sell products on their channel and they get a ton of audience backlash. Meanwhile, other creators sell it to their tiny audience and make millions of dollars. So I'm going to show you each pathway that you can take and which one is going to help you to make income on YouTube a lot faster. Let's start with the old method and explain the problems with it. All right, this old method is one that you've probably heard of a million times. Basically, the idea behind it is that you start out a YouTube channel aiming to reach a certain subscriber goal or viewer goal on your channel. You start out by posting content to see what engages people, what captures attention, and you focus on putting out videos that will get the highest level of views for your channel. Really, the main thing you're paying attention to is your video-to-video views and trying to convert more people to get them to watch, to get them to stay watching till the end, and ultimately to subscribe to your channel. You're building a community on YouTube. Now, with this method, you pretty much just have to keep going through those reps because in order for you to make money, it's going to take a lot of upfront work for that result down the line. It takes 1,000 subscribers to make money from your YouTube videos. It takes tens of thousands of subscribers to start landing sponsorships and even more to really convert effectively into a full-time income. So you're pretty much just posting videos regularly, staying consistent, building up that view count and the audience over a longer period of time until eventually you can monetize. Now, at this point, you're probably going to start off by using AdSense. Maybe you'll include a couple of affiliate links in there as well, or a Patreon community. But the real money comes from the scale of AdSense and sponsorships combined. The larger your channel is, the more money you'll make from your content. Now, this is the way that YouTube monetization has worked for years, for as long as I can really remember. And it's the one that most of us typically approach YouTube with. And it's the method that most of us typically approach YouTube with because it is the most popular. But because of the mechanics behind this method of growing a channel, you can run into some pretty big challenges when you want to monetize by selling your own product or even sometimes with sponsorships. Here's what I mean. If you wanted to sell like a digital product, like a course or a community of some sort, right? What problems you'll run into is that your audience is going to be a lot wider because you needed that scale in order to get the sponsorships and really make money from AdSense. Now, as a result of that, you may have 1 million subscribers, but you're probably not going to convert 1 million people to your product. In fact, it's going to be a very small percentage of your larger audience that is going to convert, which means that if you want to build your own business or sell your own product through your YouTube channel, you're going to need a ridiculous amount of scale to build your business into something sustainable. The reason being, you haven't primed your audience for buying early on. They're not used to you selling in your videos, so it's going to take time to build up the trust enough that they do convert to your products. So the inherent problem with this pathway, with building your YouTube channel like this, is that it's going to be really hard for you to make not only a full-time income, but to build a sustainable and scaling business behind your YouTube channel. Now, that's nice if you want to build YouTube as a hobby, if it's going to be side income for you. But if you have aspirations of, hiring an editor, building out a creative team, these things cost a lot of money. So for you to be able to reach the scale where you can pay for that on a monthly basis, it's going to take you a long time and it's going to take a lot of sales to your audience. So what is the alternative? What's the other pathway that people are using? I like to call this the YouTube business method, because instead of trying to reach the widest possible audience, you're actually trying to do the exact opposite. You're trying to reach one specific hyper niche core of people. In fact, if your channel grows to 1 million subscribers with this method, you've probably done something wrong. With this method, instead of treating YouTube like the end destination, you treat it like a stepping stone to your end destination, which is your own business. And instead of trying to reach the widest possible audience with the most entertaining content possible, instead what you're going to do is build up an audience of people in one specific topic, and you're going to share as many tips and valuable pieces of information as you possibly can. This style of content is usually a lot more raw. It's like what you're watching right now, where you share everything that you know about a specific topic, you put it into a video that's a lot more laid back and chilled out so the viewers can build up that trust with you. Because you're targeting a very specific group of people, it's a lot easier to find the people that will convert to your products early on, which means you can start selling from day one. And instead of relying on pure scale, this method relies on niche trust, where you're talking to a specific group of people and building up the trust with them so that they ultimately convert to your products. Now, that's not to say that your videos should be cheap crap where you're just shilling your product. You do need to genuinely add value. You need to put a lot of free content out there for people to learn so that they then eventually convert to your product, to your business, no matter what it is. And unless you can build up the trust in your audience, it won't matter how large your channel is, they won't convert. But it's a lot easier to build up trust when you're focusing on that niche audience, because you can talk about very specific topics that convert your buyers, that really engage your buyers and solve their problems. It's a completely different method of approaching YouTube, and it's one that's actually a lot easier to do because you don't have to edit the videos with some super engaging retention hacks. You don't need to come up with the best thumbnails. All you need to do is speak to that audience and solve their problems and then build up trust. For these videos, I don't even script out full scripts because I know that it's going to be more approachable and more easy to follow if I just share things and leave notes for myself to follow along with. This method works so effectively because instead of focusing on trying to reach the broadest possible audience and hit the most scale, instead, you're just making making calculated decisions to speak to one person or one group of people. As a result, it's easier for you to psychologically understand what's going on in that viewer's head, to engage them with videos that are valuable to them, and ultimately make income a lot faster. So real quick, I wanted to walk you through the steps to start with this pathway on YouTube. Number one, pick a topic that you're knowledgeable in and that you can add value to. This is the most important step, really. You need to pick something that you have skills in, you have experience in, or something where you can add value to other viewers. Now, you don't need to have $1 million business in this space and prove that you're super successful with some sort of crazy result. You don't have to be Alex Hormozi. But if you've done a ridiculous amount of scale, like you've posted 100 videos on YouTube, for example, there's things you've learned from that experience that you can share with other creators. Or let's say, for example, with AI, maybe you've prompted AI every single day for the last 3 years to learn the best prompts. That's a lot of experience, even if you've never grown an AI business before. Your goal is to think about something that you're passionate about and something that you're knowledgeable in. Take that balance and pick something that you can talk about on your own channel. Number two, post videos explaining the things you've learned. This part is really important because you don't want to just make random videos. You want to make videos that add value to your viewers for free, that genuinely help them to solve problems. If you can solve problems for your viewers and genuinely make a difference and add value before they've paid you a single dollar through your YouTube videos, what will happen is that they feel reciprocity. They feel like they should come to you when they're ready to invest. It makes it a lot easier to sell someone because you've already helped them once. So the paid product that is going to help them even more, it's easy for them to invest into it. Step three, create an offer that smooths out the pathway for people. I like to think of this as a staircase, right? Where your free content's the first step. They go through the free content, they solve their problems on YouTube. Maybe they join a newsletter or some sort of another free offer that you have, like a lead magnet, and they get even further solutions. If you have that staircase where you're solving problems for people, what is step one? What is step two? And where does your business fit in? Are you trying to solve step 3, 4, and 5? Or are you trying to solve step 2 and 3? You need to figure out what problems you're going to solve and how it fits into the pathway of the viewers who are watching your content. For a lot of people, this is going to look like a digital product, but it could also be a service. Like, for example, in an AI niche, you could sell prompts to people, or maybe you sell people like AI tools that you've built. I don't know. There's options for every single niche, and you can find unique ways to stand out without just selling courses as well. And then step 4, keep putting out content to learn what resonates with the audiences. This is a game of reps, of putting in more time to learn what's going to resonate with your buyers, what's going to get them the most value. So just keep showing up, trying to figure out what's going to help them the most, and putting out content. The important distinction here is you don't want to sell junk. You want to help people. You want to genuinely add value. And another thing to consider is that your results aren't going to be linear. It's going to take time to build up, but over time you will see a lot of results. You will see a critical mass of people coming in that is, going to cause you to scale your business. Following this pathway is going to guarantee that you can make income through YouTube and not make the same mistakes that I did for multiple years. Like I said, this channel, even though it's very small, it has made a huge difference in growing my own business compared to my channel that's 1,000 times the size. So this does work. You just have to stick it through. All right. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and comment down below where you're at in your YouTube growth journey. But once you're done with that, you're going to want to check out this video right here where I show you why it's so important that you start today.